Hello to everyone. Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane, and I'm coming on to bring a message for you all. This message is called Think, Declare, and Praise Your Way to Freedom. So first I want to get into the donations. I want to tell you all thank you for those of you who have been donating to my channel and sowing seeds here, to Wanda T, Cassandra, Caitlin P, Ernestine, Empress April, Shanita, Toyin, Marie M, Hollis C, Richard H, MJP, Jeffrey J, Lakeese M, and Roxanne. If I missed anybody, I do apologize, but I give thanks to all of you who have been sowing seeds to my channel, and I pray you receive a thousandfold in whatever measure you need at this time. So, first of all, this message that I'm bringing for you all is in regards to those of you who have been pushing and pushing and pushing, and you're doing what's necessary to climb to the top, but you find that you have certain energies that come in and that want to disrupt you, whether it's from within you or external to you. I want to bring some encouragement to you all to tell you, do not allow your past to hold you back from getting to the top of this mountain, okay? Because it's going to be so much reward that you're going to have just knowing that you was able to resist all of the opposition, and that the opposition was not strong enough to hold you back or to push you backwards down this mountain, but instead through every season you continue to climb. You continue to do what's necessary to get yourself to the top. And so some of you might be in a place now where it's like, okay, but I'm tired. You know, I've been running this race and I'm tired, and I feel like I don't have the energy, I don't have the drive, I don't have the, you know, the power, the strength to get to the top of this mountain. But I'm here to tell you that you do. I'm here to tell you that all you got to do is just stay in the now, stay in this very moment. Don't focus too much on the past. You know, if you're going to think about the past, make sure it feels good. Don't focus too much on the future. And if you're going to think about the future, make sure it's in alignment with the vision that you desire to create. It's so important right now for you all who have been doing the work to go through the spiritual evolution. You climbing this mountain, stay in the now, stay in this energy of gratitude. Okay, so when I say think, declare, and praise your way to freedom, I literally mean just that. You want to shift your mind, shift your thoughts. I don't care what's happening around you. If you need to tune out from the media, because there's so many different things that are happening right now, and the enemy is utilizing all of the tools that it can muster up in order to keep those of you, especially the chosen, from getting to the top of this mountain and from stepping into your divinity. So these are vital times right now where your strength and your commitment is being tested. How committed are you to this process? How committed are you to overcoming the obstacles? Because you possess the keys. You possess the tools. Everything that you need, you already have within you in order to alchemize the energy. So it doesn't matter what's happening, what's coming your way. You have every tool that you need to alchemize the energy, one being your thoughts. And so you want to ensure that your dominant thoughts are in alignment with what's going to keep you in a space of happiness, freedom, forward movement. And you want to ensure that those people that you allow into your space, whether it's in the physical or those people that you allow into your mental space, are bringing an energy that allows you to stay highly vibrational. And if they do not, then you know that it's time for you to alchemize the energy, shift the energy by either eliminating those people from your physical space or from your mental space, or shifting the way that you perceive their place in your life. Okay? Because what you cannot do is change others. You have no control over others, but you have all of the control over yourself and how you respond to others. And so some people you have in your life, you can't necessarily walk away from them, and you know they're toxic, you know they're no good for you, but at the same time, you have certain dealings that you have to maintain with them in this moment. And so Because of that, you establish those healthy boundaries. You alchemize the energy. You shift your perception of them. Look at them not through your natural eyes, but through your spiritual eyes. Okay? See them for who they are through your spiritual eyes, because you'll come to understand why they behave the way that they do, why they treat you the way that they do. You'll come to understand why they was placed in your life in the first place. You'll see them as being more so of a test in terms of you getting to the top of that mountain and less of a obstacle. You see what I'm saying? They become less of an obstacle and more of a test. And when you are the type of, depending on the type of student you was, when you are that diligent student that says, in spite of, I'm going to ace this. That's how you look at them. That's the way that you perceive them as you can continue to climb this mountain, okay? And so when I say think your way to freedom, shift your thoughts. Shift your thoughts. If your thoughts don't feel good, you want to be consciously doing whatever is necessary to change it into the direction that's going to be in alignment with you continuing down your divine path. So if you have to write, burn, and release every day, I tell people all the time, I've been setting off my fire alarm every day for almost 3 years, okay? When you find that your mind is in a space where things are cluttered, or you find yourself going back into the past and you feel like you've been suppressing all of this energy, you've been suffering in silence, you haven't been able to speak your truth, or you feel like you don't have the right people around that understand you, write it down, burn it, and release it. I destroy and I release all fear. I destroy and I release all insecurities. I destroy and I release all emotions attached to whoever it is in spirit and in flesh. And you burn it. Get into the habit of alchemizing the energy. You don't have to sit in negative energy. What you want to do when you have those situations that come up and you know that it's bringing that tension, it's bringing those emotions up. You don't want to ignore it, and you most certainly don't want to suppress it and push it back down. You want to allow it to come up, because the more that you write, burn, and release, the more that you are intentional about clearing your mind and clearing your space so that you are in alignment. You're going to find that those things that you buried deep within, that you ignored for some time, they begin to come up. And so that is a release. That is a necessary release that is happening. And so you don't want to discount that. You don't want to push it back down and say, well, hold on, I don't like the way I feel, so this must mean that I'm going backwards. No, you allow yourself to embrace how you feel and know that it is justified. How you feel is justified. I'm talking to many of you who are the chosen seed out here. The chosen, we have been through it all, okay? Many of you are in the process of writing a book. You can certainly write a book on your life story because you've been through it all. And so you got a massive testimony. And when you get to the top, you have more of a reason to give praise and to give thanks, because this has not been an easy journey at all. And so you'll find that those things that you've been suppressing, those things that, you thought that you had gotten over, that you had healed from, they might get triggered by somebody coming back into your life and playing games with your emotions. Or they might get triggered by a certain situation or someone saying this, or, whatever the case may be. They become triggered, and then it's like, okay, now you have those emotions now. Now you got to deal with it. But just know that that's a part of the healing process. It's a blessing to be able to bring things up that have been suppressed and buried, and to be able to address it and to face it head on, and to declare and decree that it is no longer yours and that you are releasing it. So that's the second part. Thank, declare, and praise your way to freedom. So declarations are very important. I declare and I decree that all of these fears that have surrounded me, all lack mentality that I have suffered through, I declare and I decree that all generational curses are now broken off of my family. I declare and I decree that all obstacles and blockages that have been placed in front of me to keep me from getting to my destiny are now removed in spirit and in flesh. And you burn it. Those declarations are very important, because that is symbolic of you taking your authority back in the spiritual realm. And of course, you're working alongside the Most High and the spiritual team that He has blessed you with and surrounded you by, that's there to help you as you release. And they're also there to help you as you create, as the co-creator of your life. Because again, you've been given the keys to the universe. You are unlocking those doors. You have the keys to do that as long as you are operating from a space of integrity, compassion, empathy, and love. You possess those keys because you're going to use them responsibly. Okay? And so because you possess such a beautiful and amazing gift, this is where you give praise. This is where you give praise at the fact that you have all of the tools necessary, and at any given moment, all you have to do is go and, plant your feet in Mother Nature. All you have to do is go and look up at the sun and do some sun gazing in order to shift your energy. All you have to do is go and pick and ingest the fruits and the vegetables that the Most High has created for us in order to heal our bodies. There's so many different things that you can do to alchemize the energy, whether it's from a spiritual aspect or a physical aspect. You possess all of the tools that you need. And so one thing that we should not be doing at this time, in spite of what obstacles come your way, you don't sit in it, and you definitely don't let it sit in front of you. You have every tool that you need to move that thing out of the way so you can continue to climb to the top of that mountain. And please know, some of you might be growing tired. You're growing weary, and you've been using these tools and you've been doing what's necessary. But it's like, when is it going to be my turn? When am I going to be able to step over this threshold and say I finally made it? When am I going to be able to see the reward and the harvest that I have sown towards for so long? And just know your time is coming. But you definitely don't want to lose the vision. You do not want to give up, because understand, the greater the sacrifice, the greater the reward. And sometimes you got to consider the fact that it depends on where you begin in your journey. We're not going to all make it there at the same time. Some people was laying flat on their face and have been there for a long time. Some of y'all have been. Okay? And so in that energy, first of all, you got to muster up the mental strength. You have to muster up that desire and that willpower to even want to strengthen yourself enough to get up off that ground. So that takes work. Okay? It's levels and it's layers to this thing. Some of you wasn't laying flat on your face. Some of y'all was just on your knees. On your knees. Life had put you on your knees. And so now you got to get the strength to, pick yourself back up and to, start working them legs back out so that you can get ready to move again. Everybody came and began this spiritual path on different levels. And so brick by brick, you tear down the false structure, and brick by brick, you build up that firm and solid foundation that's going to last for a lifetime, and not just in this lifetime, but for many generations that come behind you, because you are here. You're breaking the generational curses. You're breaking them off of yourself. You're breaking them off of your ancestors. You're breaking them off of your children, and you're going to make sure that what you do in this lifetime is not in vain. This is our time now. The head is now becoming a tail, and the tail is becoming a head. And this is why the enemy is in so much opposition to keep you from getting to the top. And so, of course, you're going to have people who might have been in your intimate circle who are now resurfacing, they're being used as puppets, though. They're being used as hosts by the enemy because they're operating in a very low vibrational state. They have no divine connection. They've done no work to transform and to shift their energy. And so they are willing reciprocants, willing vessels in the spiritual realm that are here to work against you, especially the chosen seed. So understand that you see them through your spiritual eyes. See them as being exactly who they are. Just another energy that's here to test your commitment. Are you going to allow them to come in and take you backwards where you have to go back 10 steps? Or are you going to say, no, you move. I declare and I decree that you will move. I declare and I decree that all energy that you are trying to send my way to take me backwards is null and void. It will not touch me. It cannot touch me. I continue down my divine path, and you stay in that energy where your thoughts are in alignment. And if they trigger something within you, you don't beat yourself up for it. If they trigger something within you, do not beat yourself up for it. You see it as being an opportunity for you to get refueled. That's more energy now, because that's one less thing that you have suppressed. So that's one less thing that's holding you down. So now you lighter because you're able to release something else that you probably didn't realize was still there. So don't worry about it. You welcome their energy. Let them come on in, do what it is that they need to do, but just know that you have created that protective shield around yourself, and you possess every tool that is necessary in order to alchemize the energy. So now that weight is gone, now you're just going to move even stronger and even faster, and it's going to expedite the process for you to get to the top. Don't you let nobody come in and shift your energy so much that you allow them to put you flat on your face. You already know they don't have that type of power unless you give it to them. So just know, many of you are very, very wise. You got a lot of wisdom. Our DNA is being activated, okay? We're being reawakened now. The body, the Christ consciousness is awakening now. This is a time to be excited. And so this is where we get into the energy of praise. So I spoke about thanking your way into freedom. I spoke about declaring your way into freedom. And now we're talking about praising your way into freedom. Being in that energy of gratitude and giving thanks to the Most High God every single day. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is take a deep breath and I give thanks for the breath of life. I don't care what it is I got going on. I have to keep in mind and remind myself that I am a spirit having a human experience. And so you don't want to internalize anything too much. You don't want to take anything too personal, because this ain't just about you. This is about all of us going through these challenges and doing what's necessary to shift our energy so that ultimately those negative things and you know the darkness that has been hovering across the four corners of the globe for too long, it gets dispersed. It gets destroyed, because we are now shifting the energy within ourselves. And as each one of us becomes lighter, as each one of us has our breakthrough, as each one of us declare and decree and we go into that energy of praise, it shifts the energy of the entire universe. So then you begin to remember that it ain't about you. It's less about you and it's more about evolution. Overall evolution is about Christ consciousness. It is about destruction of the enemy. And this is exactly what we are doing every time we continue down our divine path, no matter what type of stumbling block crosses your way, whether it's a small pebble or a big boulder. You possess everything in your tool bag, which is engraved in your soul, in your spirit, in your DNA, in order to come up out of that, come over and to overcome that and to still reach the top, because it's meant for you to reach the top. It's not meant for you to fail this thing. And many of you know this. It was never meant for you to fail. But if the enemy can prolong you getting to the top, then the enemy can prolong its time and power. And so this is why it's so important to not allow what's happening around you to put you back into that energy of fear, because fear is very low vibrational. It'll keep you in survival mode. And in survival mode, the only thing you're thinking about is being able to live. But see, we're talking about being in the energy of thriving, not surviving. And so we continue down our divine path. No matter what we see happening around us, we know that we are divinely protected, because we have that divine relationship with the Most High God and our spiritual team. And so you stay in that energy of praise. You give thanks every single day. You find a reason to give thanks. You find a reason to give thanks. One thing that I do, my children always taking my coins and throwing them all over the place. My money, my pennies and dimes and quarters and stuff. And, it can get a little frustrating over time, but I've learned to alchemize the energy. So, for example, when they do that, it gives me a reason to express gratitude for the abundance, the overflow of abundance. And so every coin that I pick up, I'm saying, thank you, Mother. Thank you, Father, for blessing me with this overflow of abundance. And so then I get to the point where I look forward to picking up the coins. When I'm outside, I won't pass up a penny. You best believe I won't pass up a penny. I would never pass up a coin, because that's another opportunity to pick it up and to give thanks for your abundance. Always stay in the energy of praise and gratitude, because it's very high vibrational and it keeps you in that divine connection. It keeps you in that energy of just giving you that reminder that you have nothing to fear. Everything that you need, you have, is infinitely and abundantly available to you. Don't cut off the possibilities of how this thing might play out, y'all. Just enjoy this. Enjoy this moment. Enjoy climbing up to the top of the mountain, because I've never been mountain climbing, but for any of you who have ever been mountain climbing, you probably, experience it and actually appreciate the part of climbing more so than you do being at the top. Because you know that you was able to overcome. You know that it took a certain amount of strength and perseverance and willpower to get to the top. And then once you get there, You're able to see things from such a vast perspective. You no longer have a narrow view of the world around you. You can see it from the top. You can see it from, a 360-degree angle. You can see all things. Your spiritual eyes are open. When you get to the top, you'll be able to understand this thing so much better. And you'll be able to understand why you had to go through so many obstacles in order to get there. Because that perception, that vision, that understanding is one that is unmatched. The enemy can't touch you there because the enemy is too low vibrational. The enemy can't touch you there. And so when you get to the top, that's when you're being guided. Your spiritual team is going to let you know when to take that leap of faith, because getting to the top, you had to go through the opposition to get to the top. And once you get there, you take that leap of faith. Because you're light in your energy, you've released all of that baggage, all of those burdens, all of that opposition that came in as you climbed that mountain was nothing but an opportunity for you to release them and to become lighter. Because you're climbing your way to your freedom. You are thanking, you are declaring, and you are praising your way to freedom. And when you get to the top, you're going to thank, declare, and praise again. And when you jump, you're going to thank, declare, and praise again. Because, see, we take this energy with us. This is not just for the sake of being able to say, well, all right, I raised my vibrations. I manifested this so I can have this abundance. So now that I'm here, I'm going to go back to being the old version of myself that had no appreciation and no gratitude. No, you've been through too much. And so this is an evolutionary process that does not get backtracked. We don't go backwards in this evolutionary process. No, we continue to evolve and rise higher, not just in this lifetime, but every other lifetime that we have after this one. And our offspring, our seeds, or those people who are around us that are affected by our energy, they also continue to raise and raise their vibration and continue to evolve. We break the generational curses. And so our ancestors can give praise. Our children can give praise for generations to come. We're doing powerful things right now, y'all. So give thanks that you've even been chosen for such an awesome position. Give thanks even for all of the pain that you had to go through to get here, because without it, you wouldn't be able to have the strength to overcome. And just know, the greater the sacrifice, though, the greater the reward. So you might say, well, I've been through hell and back since I was a child. I never could catch a break. But just know that none of that was in vain. None of that was in vain, because as a chosen, we always maintain that divine connection. And as the chosen, we never turned away from the Most High God. As the chosen, we still operated from a space of love, even when we was in the energy of imperfections, because we'll never be perfect. But see, we still never act from a space of spite. You see what I'm saying? The chosen, we carry ourselves differently. We live differently. We project our energy differently. And this is why many of you was the black sheep. This is why many of you was set aside. But I call it being preserved, because you was being preserved for something greater. You was being set aside for something greater, because it wasn't never meant for you to mesh with them. It was never meant for you to go in the direction of the majority. You was the one that was created and made to take the road less traveled. And so give thanks just off the strength that you was the black sheep. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to be emotionally upset about. Give thanks. That's another reason to give praise. And in spite of what you've been through, give thanks and give praise that you've been able to overcome, and that your reward and your harvest is there waiting on you just to get to the top of that mountain. Keep climbing. Don't allow anybody to take you backwards. Don't you let your past hold you back. Don't cling to the past. Release it. Allow yourself to be free. Allow yourself to go with the flow and to stay in the now. Because this moment right now is something that you cannot get back. And so give thanks in this moment, because when you get to the top of that mountain and you take that leap of faith towards your divine journey, you're going to look back and it's never going to look the same. You're never going to go through these types of pains again. And no, it's not going to be perfect. But guess what? You have all of the tools necessary to alchemize the energy. Life is getting ready to look very different for you at the top of that mountain, because again, your perception and your perspective completely shifts at the top. So give praise as you continue to climb. And Stay in that energy of lightheartedness. Dance, give praise, thank, declare, and praise your way to freedom. So that's what I got for you all. I love you. If you desire a private reading from me, you can always email me. I do charge for my private readings. If you want to order my herbal hair or body oils, you can also email me. Continue to thrive, y'all. I love you, and I'll talk to you next time.